Now can you hear me? Hello, 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 hello. This is incredibly annoying. You can hear me now. So you see, guys, what happened this time, as there must always be an explanation, is it's so not used to being on this microphone that my computer actually automatically switched me off it because these are the things that happen. These are the days of our lives. Okay, good. Again, I'm glad you guys are all cool about it. I don't care. I'm not letting it get me upset. I just worry sometimes if new people see this, they might be like, what in the hell is going on? So I may have to actually go in and edit this thing and sort of chop out the beginning. Because if people every day are seeing this who aren't already really here and fans and are like, what this guy must be missing the left side of his cerebral cortex, that would be a real problem for me. Okay, you're hearing me well. Whatever, screw it. Let's get this thing done. We're going to have fun. So much fun. We're going to be singing zippity doo dah out of our arseholes. I don't know. I may have just gotten demonetized, but that was a good line from Vacation, and I feel like it was worth it. So, folks, just the way I was begging for this microphone to work, Donald Trump is begging the Supreme Court, that group of court jesters, a group of court jesters, the 6 Republicans in robes who like to walk around and pretend they're actual judges. He's begging them to suspend the Friday hearing that has been set up by Judge Merchan in New York to criminally hold the president of the United States responsible. What would he do? What would the sentence be? My guess is it wouldn't be too much of a sentence. I don't think Merchan is going to step forward and just destroy him, but God, we can hope. Man, if they could slap the cuffs on him, even for 5 minutes, it'd be so cool if he could just be like sentenced to all time before inauguration that he has to go in. Again, I don't expect any serious sentencing, but even if it's a fine, even if there's any kind of a sentence that holds this man accountable and says you're a criminal, that's better for our society. So what's going on right now? Well, I'm going to read it to you, let you know. So Trump's little lawyers, the ones that won't be paid eventually and will be going on TV to attack him and claim that we never knew he was that crazy when they don't get paid, went straight to the Supreme Court, their last place to go, and probably offered Clarence Thomas a trip to Greenland, maybe Alito. He likes those free flights. Maybe a free flight to, I don't know, Canada, just a place I pulled out of the top of my head. Check things out for him, see how those new places are going to do when they rule over them. But he went to them like he did on immunity, like he did so many times when he's been in a desperate situation and Eileen Cannon hasn't been able to stop everything for him. So we've got the 6 most corrupt, allegedly, Supreme Court justices ever who are going to sit there and decide whether Judge Merchan can do his actual duty and hold Trump responsible for the 34 counts he was held responsible. He was found guilty of when it came to paying off Ms. Stormy Daniels before the election in 2016, the hush money case, as we call it. I'd use another word, but again, I can't say it. It rhymes with corn. She was a corn star. Still, who knows? They may demonetize me for that. These are the things I've been talking to you all about why we're going to all be at other places too, like Patreon. I digress. Prosecutors are expected to file a response Thursday morning. Trump's team sought an immediate stay of the scheduled sentencing, saying it would be wrongly restrict him as he prepares to take office. Trump right now, look, he's got to unbury himself from a pile of Cheetos, sit up and see if his back is still working as that big bowling ball, he calls a belly, flops on the floor. He may actually sort of like a Tower of Pisa fall forward while trying to watch Fox and Friends. And he has to get up and he has to have all the people that take the huge brushes to scrape the barnacles and everything off of him and dress him. And all of that to go to court. Well, as you can imagine, that takes time away from presidenting, right? Who's going to president when that's going on? So while Merchan has indicated he will not impose jail time, as I said, fines or probation. Oh, I thought we might get fines. Trump's lawyers argued a felony conviction would still have intolerable side effects. Like everyone in the world would know this man is even more of a schmuck than they already do. I don't know. I'm not sure what the side effects would be. We already know he's horrible. And everybody outside of this country is pretty confident that we all screwed the pooch on reelecting him. In any case, the sentencing should be delayed as he appeals the conviction to prevent grave injustice. Grave injustice. Would that be like, oh, I don't know, sending a group of people to storm the Capitol on January 6th, 4 years ago? wearing Camp Auschwitz sweatshirts and such and killing police officers? Or would that be going and meeting with Vladimir Putin to share our secrets, allegedly, once you kick a translator out of the room? Or would that be deporting people with no kind of recourse possible and threatening people to send in armies into cities? And I don't know, I can go on with this forever. Assaulting, I don't know, 40 different women. Yeah, those seem more like grave injustices than a judge is saying, by the way, you're a felon. I'm not even imposing jail time or anything like that. But no, little Trumpy, he has to have his way and he can't have these things happen. And again, I told you what the process is like for him to get up off the sofa. So emergency motion is from lawyers John Sauer, Trump's pick for Solicitor General. In Trump's administration, Solicitor General works a little differently. Solicitor General goes to Epstein's old hangouts. Okay, I'll stop. Who represents the government before the High Court, and Todd Blanche. Of course, he picked a guy for his other lawyer whose name literally means white in a different language to be the second-ranking Justice Department official. They pointed to the Supreme Court ruling giving Trump and other presidents broad immunity. And they're filing in the New York court said it lacks the authority to impose a sentence and judgment on President Trump or conduct any further criminal proceedings. I guess states no longer can judge presidents, even if presidents break state laws, is what they're saying. Blah, 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 full of crap. Look, in the end, Trump will never get what he deserves. He has already nominated like a rogues gallery of scumbags and assaulters and criminals and God knows what else to join his cabinet, each one worse than the next. They're all billionaires. Their plan, as we've talked about here on other shows, is to make crypto the currency, to take our economy down, to take over, because billions aren't enough. Jeff Bezos has got his little Amazon Plus, making a documentary on Melania. I don't know how much of the time in that documentary she'll have her clothes on, the actor playing her, because, well, it's Melania. But Bezos kissing his butt, Zuckerberg getting rid of the third-party fact checkers. They're already all in the bag for him. So why should he have to go through what normal people go through and be held accountable for a felony, right? He's a billionaire, at least on paper, too. Okay, that's been Cliff's note for today. A little bit shorter, but we do more punchy because I think we screwed up. In this case, I screwed up even more than usual, which is fun. Where'd you all go? There you are. You're back. Okay. For a second, the comment section seemed gone. So we don't have Tony here yet, which is fine. I don't think he's used to my doing these things so quickly. Come on, guys. Tell me what's going on. Well, yeah, Clinton is a choir boy compared to Trump. I am going to bring that up quickly, and I see Tony's gotten here, and we'll bring him in a second. But if you lived through that time in 1998 when, the moral scolds of the Republican Party, and they're still out there, of course, pretending that they have any morality, much less more than your average sewer dweller, they just were horrified. Bill Bennett back then, the education secretary, liked to sit, I'm not kidding you, in casinos all night and pull slots because he was very moral. Wrote a book, The Book of Virtues, because Bill Clinton and what he did was so horrible. We couldn't handle it. And every one of those guys just threw themselves at Trump's feet. And that's because they're not actual, the religious right and his base. They're not actual Christians as they claim to be, as we've discussed on here. They're the Romans in this equation. All right. They've done the money changing in the temple, and the money is billions, and that's what they want. They need billions more. So that's the difference. I can go on about Clinton and the difference forever. Somebody in there has just said what Clinton did was morally disgusting. Hey, look, it's below my face today. I've improved. And what Clinton did was morally disgusting. Actually, that's what I think. But morally disgusting and impeachable offense are two very different things, you see. You don't impeach based on that. Or, well, FDR would have been impeached. LBJ would have been impeached. Reagan would have been impeached. George H.W. Bush would have been impeached. Who else? I'm missing. John Kennedy, of course. Yeah, we don't have that clause there for impeachment. So what Clinton did can be more. You consider that morally disgusting. And I consider his policies in stopping a genocide in Bosnia and passing family medical leave and allowing gay troops to serve in the military and numerous other things. An amazing economy that created 22 million jobs, pushing forth civil rights legislation too, voter acts so people could register to vote easier and stuff like that to be good things. So You say tomato, I say tomato, and I say it's time to let Tony in. And let's let Tone.
Yes. Hey, how are you?
How's it going, Tone?
Well, I'm good. I'm just preparing myself because I got to go shovel snow. So I'm not looking forward to it. As a kid, I used to like to play in the snow, but not so much anymore. Not really.
No, I know it changes as you get older. I used to like it too. I don't know if our bodies can't handle the cold as well, or we just are just not so just jacked up anymore on sugar that
Maybe that might be what
you can't feel a damn thing.
Right.
Hey, I had my mic not work at the beginning of the show again, by the way. I didn't want you to.
I couldn't figure out the raid. Did it work? Because I couldn't get the raid on Twitch. I don't know if people are over on Twitch watching, but
okay.
I couldn't find you. I don't know. I was having trouble yesterday, and I finally got it. But today, I couldn't manage to get it to work. I don't think.
Well, did you do the YouTube one?
Yeah. Did it work?
Okay.
Did it not work either? No. Oh, okay.
No. I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of people are here, but a lot of these folks, I don't know if there's something that notifies me. A lot of these great people come on their own now. I'm used to seeing them.
Yeah.
So
I'm not really sure. I hope everything worked today, but it seemed like the technology wasn't. And the monopoly state may be watching me. They've been like, "Ooh, Tony and
they are watching. They're going to turn off your snowblower."
Colluding against us. I do not have a snowblower. I wish I had a snowblower. This would make my job that I'm about to do for the next God knows how many hours easier.
I just get down on the ground and actually blow the snow. I mean, not in that way.
Oh,
no, let's not get gross.
Well, that's what Don Jr. does, but it's not really snow.
He blows a different kind of snow. There's no doubt. There's an 8-ball surrounding that snow. I see Jody, the great Jody Hamilton here. I'm going to add her in. Hey, Jody.
Oh, hey, Jody.
Hi, Cliff.
Do you know my good pal Tony Michaels from the?
No, I do not.
It's nice to meet you. Yeah, it's nice to meet you. It's nice to meet you. How are you?
I'm all right. There's not anything going on here in Southern California that I need to worry about.
Oh,
so
Jesus, that's right. Do you live in the zone that's being
as of right now, no. But that could change any minute.
Oh my God.
My aunt had to move in last night because she lives in the area that's near the Palisades fire.
Oh no.
And so hopefully her house will survive. Hi, Eno. Hopefully her house will survive. My niece's dog is with me, who doesn't get along with other dogs. My aunt's dog is here, but that dog doesn't get along with my cats. It's fun.
So you have a lot of visitors. Gosh. You have a lot of visitors.
Yes, we do. We do.
That is a cool. We had that. I mean, not related. Your situation is different. We had a dog stay, a little puppy from friends of ours, and we have a couple cats. We're crazy cat people. Like we have 4 of them. And,
we only have 2, so we're good.
And one of ours, sadly, she's in a room by herself. I mean, we spend a lot of time with her in there, but she's diabetic, and we have to feed her separately and all. So she's okay, although a little bit upset from the noise that's up. The other 3 guys were like, "What's this little puppy thing doing here?" And it was almost war. Okay, it was almost like one of them said, "You're Greenland and you're Panama," and they just went at it. But. I lost in any case.
It's all right.
I'm so glad you're here. And I'm so sorry that you're dealing with that. So obviously, if you have to jump at any point for much more important reasons, please do.
No. It's, I mean, we're lucky. And I mean, I know at least 6 people that have had to evacuate so far. So hopefully all their homes are okay.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Well, I wanted to get into some stuff with you in general. Some political stuff, talk to you a little politics, talk to you about those awesome guitars on the wall behind you. Look at that collection. You guys don't know this, but see, that's why I wanted to talk to Jody about a variety of things, because Jody fits perfectly my plan here of 3-dimensional humans, which of course Tony does too. At least 2 dimensions to Tony. I think 3. I'm gonna give him 3.
Maybe.
I love you.
2.5. 2.5. Don't give me too much credit.
But Jody, obviously in the political world, a strong voice, producer, for Stephanie Miller, has had a podcast and done many, many other things, but also recorded music with Faster Pussycat.
Well, it was technically the Newly Deads. It was Tammy's other band.
Okay. It was Tammy's other band. And, I've told people before that my son is a lead singer in a rock band. So when Faster Pussycat and LA Guns And by the way, just for saying LA and then guns, I probably just got demonetized by YouTube. I just thought I'd say
Probably.
bastards. But and LA guns and what's his name? Lead singer, former lead singer, Cinderella. And his name's not coming to me. It pisses me off.
Same here. I know who it is. And it's
Kiefer,
just,
right? Kiefer.
Yeah, Tom Kiefer.
Tom Kiefer. So we went. There was at a festival that was between, you know, and Jody made the phone call, and we got in. You know, backstage was really going behind like a, you know, like a rope and like you know the caution emergency tape kind of thing.
Yeah.
But they let us back behind the caution emergency tape, and we got to take pictures with all of them. And for my son, it was like heaven, and I had a blast too. So Jody made that happen. So you recorded songs with Tammy. Why don't we start there? You're maybe on completely on and off rock and roll career. I don't know. Tell me about it.
No, it was a one-off song. I just sang backgrounds. And his old bass player, Kyle, who used to play bass for Bang Tango, was in the band at the time. And I had recorded something for Kyle that he was trying to get sold to the Olympics in like, gosh, I don't even remember what year it was. Anyway, and so Kyle suggested I do these backgrounds. So Tammy called and I said, sure. Cause I've known Tammy for 30 years, almost 30 years. I'm trying to think, it's been a long time. And I've known Kyle about that long as well. And so I just went over and, you know, did the weird backgrounds that I did. And it was interesting because when I had said to Bob that I knew that I'd listened to you on Bob's show and that you wanted to go see Faster, I was like, well, I know Faster. And weirdly, when I like the day after that I said that to Bob, Tammy called and he goes, man, I was just listening to the Newly Deads record, man. It was so cool. And I was like, okay, that was a reason for
universes.
Me yeah, it was very odd because I don't go out at night anymore because I get up at night to do my job.
Right. Stephanie's show out for the East Coast.
Wow,
right.
Yeah. So I don't leave the house anymore. So I don't really see those guys as often as I used to. And it's a bummer, but they're still really close friends of mine. I love them all.
I mean, they were so kind. They were so awesome. They, you know, let willing to offer any pictures of turkey. And, you know, of course, Tammy right away was like, well, any friend of Jody's, you know, and so we felt pretty special. And I will say, I think Bob and I were having a conversation because when I'm on Bob's show, we talk some pop culture stuff. And, you know, see, this is it. I'm in my 50s and I'm losing my mind. How can I not think of it with John Cena, the show that where he was like dancing to House of Pain, which is literally one of my favorite songs of all time. I can say House of Pain has everything in it. The musicality, the way he sings it. I love it. And the way John Cena danced to that.
It was fantastic.
Peacekeeper. Yeah.
That's it. It's a great show. I love that show.
Yeah. And so I was talking to Bob how much I love that. And it reminded me how much I love that song, which, you know, you forget over time. And then then I think you heard that and that led to us meeting them. So, you know, life is strange. Have you recorded, done any other music, recorded any other songs on your own with folks?
I've done some covers. I did a cover of my friend Chesney Hawkes' song called Baby Jane. It's on the SoundCloud. I also did a cover for Cliff Schecter. My brain just went out. For Cliff Schecter. See, I'm looking at you and I'm like, not for you.
I was like,
for
oh my God, you did a song.
I did a cover for you. Here it is. No, I did a cover for David Ferguson. The End of the World. I covered The End of the World for Cliff Ferguson. And then several years ago, my sister Carrie was in a band called Guilt Lily. And great band, by the way. And her old guitar player, Lauren Molinari, who used to be in Little Caesar and the Dogs, called me up and he said, hey, I have this song, man, and it's so Guilt Lily and I'd love to record it. And I said, well, have fun, go record it. And he said, no, I want you to sing. And I just have the chorus. And I said, well, I don't write lyrics. Sorry. But let me look, because I have my sister's lyric book. And I said, send me the chorus and I'll see if I can fit what your chorus is with some lyrics that I can find. And luckily she didn't write this song that she didn't record this poem that she wrote. And Carrie's songs were kind of dark and Lauren's chorus was really happy clappy. So it was a difficult task to find the right words to fit with his. And so we recorded it. When was that? In 2018, I want to say.
Oh, cool. So not that long ago.
So this is a dark, happy song, is what?
Yes, it's a happy, clappy, sad song.
Going into 2019, 2020, right?
An upbeat, sad song.
It was. Let me think. How old am I? I'm 57. It was my brother's 60th birthday. He's 67. So it was 7 years ago. So yeah, it was 2017, and so we recorded the song, and then we did a music video. The song is called Mystery Connection, and it's on YouTube under Guilt Lily, GILTLILY. And
I've heard of it. I've heard of the band, honestly, because I get really
great
into,
band.
I like listening to indie and all. I mean, not indie, but anything I can find, whether big, small, whatever. And so I bet I'll like it because I love that one that you did with Tammy. So I'm going to check it out.
Well, it was the band should have been signed in the early 90s, and they just, things happen and you don't get a record deal. But so we recorded it, and we shot a music video. And what's funny, if you've ever worked with bands, if you have a headshot, every person in the band goes, I don't like me, but everybody else looks great. You know what I mean? So you have to go through a number of iterations to finally pick one shot that everybody likes. Same with usually with music videos. It's like, well, I don't like how I look. I don't like the right. So Lonnie shot the video for us, and it was a day shoot. It was really simple. And I take all the footage and I edited it. And I was like, Lonnie's like, God, I hope it doesn't take you too long to edit this thing. You know how bands are. And so I sent them the cut, and they're like, sounds great. When do we put it up?
Wow.
Literally one
cut
edit. And then we had a benefit at a place called Molly Malone's here in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And it was us, and I think the Dogs played. I forget. It was a bunch of bands. Rolanda Watts was our MC because she did a movie with my sister and me years ago. And so it was about 6 bands, and Guilt Lily went on early because I had to get up early. And so we went on first, and we did all of the songs plus the new song, not all of the old songs, but we did about a 30-minute set. And it was on my sister's birthday that year because she passed away in 2002. So I'm sorry. Thank you. And so we raised a bunch of money for her. My mom set up a foundation for her. So we raised like $1,500,
Yeah.
Not bad.
Wow, that's great. No, not at all.
Not bad at all. So that was a fun show. And then I just played with Lauren and the rest of the guys from Guilt Lily about a week and a half ago. When was that? I forget. I'm that old. And it was an acoustic.
Trust me,
set.
I'm in that same range as you, so we're good. I just turned 53, so
I'll be 58 in what's today? Today's the 8th. I'll be 58 in 10 days.
And Tony's like 12, so he's
right. Look at him.
Yeah. I'm 13.
Okay.
Going on 40.
Well, see, I add the numbers together, so I'll be 13 in 10 days.
That's right. Okay. There you go. Great. That's the way to do it, I think.
Well, I have to jump. I've got to go shovel snow.
Oh gosh, can you send some here? We need some.
Yes, I'll send it. You can have all of it. All of it in my driveway. You can have every single bit of it.
Tony's in the Ozarks.
You need a wheelbarrow. You can bring it over.
Okay.
He got hit the way we got hit here in Cincinnati.
I'm so sorry, you guys.
So I gotta go shovel a minivan out of the driveway. That way,
good luck.
We can. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. It's nice to meet you, Jody.
Nice to
everyone,
meet you.
Have a great afternoon, and we'll talk to you soon.
Take care, buddy. Thanks for being here. Yeah, it's funny. You and I appreciate your what the kind words there about here, but actually it was the best thing because we'd gone to France for a week and we got back Saturday night. And Sunday was jet lag all day. And I was going to have to get up Monday and like maybe take work seriously or something like that. And I usually go on Hal Sparks' show on Mondays. Which reminds me, I've had almost the whole Sexy Liberal universe on here now. This is kind of cool. Stephanie, I'm going to have to get her on here one of these days. But in any case, the snow, and for my kids, they got 2 days off when we got back. I think that worked out well for everybody.
Nice.
And we'd send it your way if we could, because God, you guys could use it.
We really could. I wish it were raining right now. It's bad.
Is there any rain in the forecast at all anytime soon?
Not really. I mean, we're dry right now. We had a lot of rain last year, which is why there's so much fuel.
Right.
So,
Right. I'm sorry.
yeah.
So did you think of ever, did you try or think of ever just making the rock star thing a permanent thing?
No.
I can see that, right?
When we did the show a couple of weeks ago, it was an acoustic show in a really small bar. And I get up with the guys and there's feedback constantly. And I'm like, I stopped touching the mic. And it was like, I sounded terrible, according to me. Everybody's like, no, you sounded great. I said, no, I saw the video. No, please don't post this. Nobody sent it to anybody. It was awful. But a good friend of Carrie's and mine says, no, I want more. So, I might sing with Lauren again. We'll see. Look
at that. We're going to put that up on the screen because that's very true.
Oh, hi. Thank you, President 46. Your check is in the mail.
In fact, there have been a lot of nice comments. I should put a lot of them up here. Everybody loves you, Jody, which that's because they're smart.
No, they're just very nice.
Well, so I think it's funny you say that because I've thought the same thing sometimes. And, people are nice enough in the chat to talk me down off the ledge because every day there's been different issues. I started a YouTube channel. Like the only thing I'm good at is looking at a camera and talking. All the technical stuff, the lighting was crap for a while, would get messed up. And then I've had mic issues like you can't even imagine. In like the last 3 days, I've come in. Now I think it's my computer, the connection to my computer, because I think that this computer is, we would call it washed. I think a younger generation might say, I need to get a new one.
Do your cats eat cords? Because one cat, she's right over here looking very innocent. She eats cords.
We have one of those too, but I haven't brought this computer home. This microphone home. So I think in this case, it's it truly is the, just the fact that basically I think it's gotten loose in there. So I just think this thing it's time.
There you go.
It's time. Kremlins, as Jim Williams, one of our great moderators, says here. So, okay, so Rockstar, you're like, but I'm sure everybody else was like, you sound great. And obviously Tammy came to you and wanted you to sing, and they wanted you to sing with them. So they ever be like, hey, can you join whatever iteration of the band it was at that time? Like, were you, were they like, join us? And you were like, no, I can't do that.
I did. I used to sing for Carrie's band before Get Lily called Neighborhood Dogs. I was her background singer for not every gig, but a lot of the gigs. And I lived with her at the time, and they would rehearse up at the house. And so I'd like come out of my room in a robe, and just kind of do backgrounds and then, finish and they'd all leave. So our very first show was at a place called 8121, which was in the basement of a nightclub that used to be around called the Coconut Teaser. And at the time I was managing bands. Yep. And so a bunch of A&R guys that I knew personally were at this. It was a very small little acoustic place. Tiny, stage not much bigger than the room that I'm in. And so I said to the guys, I said, should I wear my robe? And they're like, well, of course, we won't know it's you if you don't. So I brought my robe and I put it on and walk up on stage, and I'm looking out and I see all these guys that I know professionally. And I'm like, oh, they're never going to take my call again. But I sang with her a few times on stage. It was fun. I'm a good background vocalist. I know how to support others. So it was an easy gig.
Well, a lot of people in here saying, and Brandon Woods, I just had his comment up there, that you have a beautiful voice and have done awesome songs for the show, which again, I've heard your voice too. And I would absolutely agree with that take. So again, if it's not what the life you wanted, that's totally cool. I think if you had wanted it though, you got the skills, you have the personality, you have the voice, like you're cool.
Very, very kind. You are very kind.
Jody, I try to say this to people often, and it makes it a little tougher. I won't name names and say why, but I want to have people who are engaging and, bring something to being on the show. They can talk politics, but also have incredibly interesting lives outside of it. But what's also really important to me is that I've met these people and they're just as good off camera as they are on, as in good people. And I can truly say you're an amazing person because you come from a background where you could be very different. And that because I'm sure you've run into all sorts of people that are very different, and you still are genuine and you. And that is just, that's fact.
Thank you.
Unless you're doing a really good job of tricking me. But,
I have really good acting chops, is what it is.
That's what it is. So did you step into that universe too? That I don't know about, if you tried that or not.
I actually, on my old show for our Patreon page, we were doing sketches.
Okay.
And
Very cool.
One of my podcast partners wrote them. And so he was in several with me. Both of my partners were in several with me. There was one particular sketch that we did called Heaven Helpline that I just loved doing her. She was fantastic. She had a headset mic, and, she's had a short gray wig and talk a little like this,
Very nice.
And so, she was like,
talk.
A little coffee talk. And Sean wrote some really, really funny stuff. So I'm proud of that work. And I also was in this very strange movie called Genesis, The Future of Mankind as Woman.
Cool. Can I find it?
Yes, it's pinned on my Twitter account. It's on YouTube right now. And Meredith Baxter is in it, and Robert Romanus from Fast Times is in it. They're the two big stars. And the woman that directed and wrote it used to babysit for my cousin. So I have known her for about 50 years. And at my 50th birthday party, she was invited, and she said, "Hey, Jody, I want you to work on this movie with me." And I thought, okay, I've been a producer. I've produced movies. I've been a production coordinator, done all of that stuff. And I'm thinking, I don't want to produce your movie because I know there's no pay. That's in my brain. She goes, no, I want you to act in it. And I went, you sure? And she says, yes, I am. And I'm like, oh, okay. I said, how many lines? She goes, you only have 3. I said, perfect. I will not ruin a movie with only 3 lines. So we go to the read through. And now my sister Carrie had worked with both Meredith and Robert, so it was kind of nice to meet them. And Robert now is really good friends with Lonnie, and he's
Very
also
cool.
he's also, because he was in Fast Times, he's good friends with my friend Amanda Wiss, who was also in Fast Times. And so
I love that movie. So you just the way you're throwing those names out there. I mean, I love it. I mean.
No, I've known Amanda for a long time. She was in a movie with my sister Carrie years ago, so I've known her since the 80s.
Well, we're the right age of when that movie came out. That was like
exactly was the best film of all time, as far as I'm one of the best of all time.
I love it. I always say to people, as sort of like we just and see if anybody out there in the audience can get this. Name the 4 Academy Award winners that come out of that movie.
Forrest Whitaker, Sean Penn. No, she didn't win. Did she? I'm just trying to think. I just know 2 offhand right now that I
know. You get. I mean, and multiple. It's like some of them with Sean Penn, right? Multiple awards.
Yeah.
I maybe even forget mixing up. I'm not
There's
thinking
2 at least.
There's 2 at least. So
did Jennifer Jason Leigh ever win one? I don't think she.
Yeah.
Has.
So I think she was the 3rd one. I think she got Best Supporting. Was it for single white female?
Yes, she might have gotten that. Yeah.
It was for one of those. And there's one more who had a smaller role. I'll give you a hint. He was one of the.
Nick Cage.
There you go.
He was he was Nick Coppola in that. That was his credit. Was
right.
Nicholas
He was
Coppola.
still going. Yeah. He was related to that family. Yeah. Exactly. But that's the thing is I mean, I'm always like, if anybody bags on a movie, I'm like, find a movie with more Academy Award winners that have come out of it. Honestly, I mean, it's kind of incredible when you think about the actors that
Eric Stoltz was in it. I mean,
Stoltz had a big role.
Cast. Yeah, it was a
Phoebe Cates.
Yes, Phoebe Cates. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that was a great movie. So, oh my God, that's funny. So okay, so you were, but like again, sort of like the music. Did you dedicate serious? Like, did you think I want to be a producer or actor?
Oh, producer, yes. When I stopped managing bands, my sister and I started a film company called Namath Cuff, which is fuck the man backwards. I hope I can say that on this.
Works for me.
Okay, good.
They'll probably already demonetize. Whatever.
And we did a couple of shorts and a music video. The original song "Baby Jane," we did the music video for my friend Chaz for that. But then all hell broke loose when my sister got sick, so we didn't do anything after that, unfortunately. And I produced Carol Burnett Showstoppers with my brother, and I got my first Emmy nomination doing that.
See, there's all this stuff I don't know about you, like, because we've generally, that's why I like doing this when I've talked to you and I've been going on Stephanie's show or in any other capacity, like we've talked politics. So, and I know you've got this incredibly interesting background. So I didn't even know that you'd been nominated. That's incredible.
Yeah, it was cool. We lost to the Olympics.
Well, screw them, man. You should have won as far as.
Well, I don't see why the opening ceremonies of the Olympics was with our category. It made no sense to me, but whatever. I mean, the opening ceremonies were great that year. I'm not going to diss them, but I think they should have been in a different category. So
fair enough. So the question I have to ask is, did you ever think about going into comedy? Because I feel like you knew a comedian at some point. I don't know. It's like I can't place it, but someone.
Well, I mean,
whose name rhymes with Meryl Turnett.
That's good. That's good. No, I mean, like I said, the sketches that Sean wrote were very funny, and I really liked playing those characters. There were two that he wrote that I really liked. And then when I did Genesis, what was funny was I was supposed to only have three lines. It turned out that one of the actors in the movie couldn't finish her parts. It took us 3 years to make the film because it was on weekends when people had time. And so literally I went from 3 lines to I'm in about 40 minutes of the film.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm like the 4th lead, basically. And so I was supposed to have like 10th billing, and now I'm 4th billing. And it's a weird little movie. And so, if you like it, you like it. If it's a strange little science fiction film. So,
but I mean, it's more, your role is dramatic. It's not comic. Like I was sort of getting at if you'd tried kind of a mixture. That's kind of cool.
There's some comedy in it for sure. In fact, there's a scene because this woman gets kidnapped by a band of lesbians. And
life is tough sometimes,
isn't it? And she's pregnant through parthenogenesis, which happens in bees and some other animals, because she was told she would never get pregnant because she has a weird uterus. Anyway, so we kidnap her because there are these
That's
scientists.
what Republicans like to say too, that that we can't. So, sorry.
Right. So we kidnap her to save her from these mad scientists, okay, that have kidnapped her. We rescue her. So we take her to our ranch, and I'm one of the people at the ranch. Now, before I was going to have 40 minutes in the film, we're shooting this dance. We take her to this dance. It's like, the whole group is having a dance. And so I said to the director, I said, now I have some flannel that I can wear, or I have this. And I had this rainbow mini dress and these high platform pink boots. And she said,
cool.
I walked out wearing that. And Meredith Baxter looks at me, she goes, I'll take that, and I went, okay, if Meredith likes it, And so I ended up wearing that, which was very funny because it was so not, and I was the glam girl, I guess. But it's a weird little movie, and it's.
When did it come out?
When did it come? Gosh, we shot it. We started shooting it about 8 years ago. So I want to say it premiered 4 years ago, something like that.
Right.
Something like that.
Well, that's
and
cool.
It's on YouTube. It made it into a festival that wasn't just for the gays. It made it into a Hollywood Film Festival, which was nice because it went to a lot of gay festivals.
Well, of course, that's how you promote it. I mean, that would make sense.
But Audrey was really proud when she got into a straight festival. She was very proud of that. And we're going to maybe do another one. We'll see.
Well, that's really cool. And you'll maybe have some time to do that and. Some other things, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully.
Hopefully. So did you? Did you really like? Did the comedy thing really ever cross your mind? I mean, again, we'll just talk about your mom being Carol Burnett and all of that, and seeing everything that you saw, growing up. Was that something that was interesting to you, or no?
It was interesting. I mean, I did take, like every kid, I was in some school plays and stuff like that. And then I took an acting class in college, which I got an A in. So thank you to my professor.
Oh, look at that.
But it never really was like my sister Carrie and my immediate sisters, because I have 10 brothers and sisters. So I don't
think I knew that. No.
Yeah, my dad had 8 children with his first wife and then 3 with my mom. Okay. And so Carrie and my baby sister Erin both had that bug. I more took after my dad, who was a producer. So and my brother and I have worked together a bunch of times. I mean, my gig before my podcast and before I got Stephanie's show, I worked with my brother for 7 years on doing industrials for a hotel chain.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, see, that's what I find. It's not necessarily the interest that's always the same, but I've always enjoyed writing, performing, these kinds of things. And so it's sort of like, I have a scary, not good singing voice, but point being that I have a son that is a lead singer in a band is not a shock. Like we like performing in different ways, right? And that's what I often find are the traits that are passed through families, like whether you like to write, whether you like to be, the creative in general, not necessarily always the exact same thing, right? And it seems like you have tried yourself out at, and enjoyed a number of different kind of creative careers. It's just, wasn't the specific one that, and well, actually it was in a way, I guess, because you saw what your dad was doing and it was more, that was more kind of the.
When I was 10 years old, I wanted to be an agent.
That's awesome.
And then I discovered music and realized, well, agents don't really have a lot to do with musicians, how their careers go. They basically just book them.
Right.
Versus an agent for an actor really kind of melds the person and figures things out to make that person's career go the way they want it to. Whereas a manager does that sort of thing for bands. So then when I was 11, I wanted to be a manager, and I was for a while.
Right.
Didn't work out. Had some good bands that I managed, but obviously didn't get it. None of them got any deals. But that's the nature of the beast, unfortunately.
Right. As we know, I mean, it takes talent. I think I always feel like well, maybe it doesn't always take talent. There are some people that get luckier than they should. But I think a lot of the time it takes talent for those kinds of things, but it also just takes luck, right? It's sort of both of them.
It's luck and talent. I mean, one of the bands that was called 5 Easy Pieces, we were so close to getting a record deal, and then it just fell apart, and it's too bad. They were a great band. They were a really good band.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, like I feel like I was promoting a band when I was in grad school in New York, and I just thought, they put out a couple records independently. They're playing all the cool clubs down at the time, that if you went down to like Houston and sort of that area, I mean, it's changed a lot since then, but like all these cool kind of off of Houston kind of places, like some of these places where I early on saw, Blues Traveler and Living Color and like, some bands from the New York scene where I'm like, those guys look good. They might make it. But I probably said that about 20 others that didn't, right? So some of it's luck and timing and, right? Because somebody makes a Avengers movie that blows up and then everybody, blows up, and does really well. And then everybody suddenly is like, we want superhero movies. And if you're the guy that was making a great, movie, a love story at that moment, maybe your funding gets pulled or something. I mean, so much of it seems to be that kind of stuff that happens. I got the opportunity when I was, I've got my little IMDb from, was it 2015 or 16? Because I was promoting, long story how I got, but through friends, a film at these film festivals, having to do with terrorism and our common humanity, called the Algerian. Harry Lennox, if you know Harry Lennox.
Love him. He's a great actor. I love him.
Oh, big booming, deep voice and whatever. And so a friend of mine was the writer and producer of the movie. And so he brought me in, and then I even helped with some rewriting a few things and got my little executive producer credits. And I got to see, or credit, but I got to see, from that side of things. I was like, wow, how much work went into it, even for just, it did make it into, I want to say 40 to 50 movie theaters, in different cities, but it didn't make it into thousands, just the all the things that have to go right, unless you're backed by like a huge entity.
Yeah. It's hard.
What I mean?
It's hard.
It seems that way, pretty difficult. So I suppose we probably have to talk some politics or something.
Do we have to?
Not that much, just a little more on the sort of like, how are you?
I stopped crying, so that's good. I'm just glad that with these fires that are happening, that it's now and not a couple of weeks from now, because Donald and Elon are already blaming our governor for the wildfires.
Yeah, Gavin Newsom definitely. I mean, it's like a dragon. He breathes fire, right? Or something like that.
It's you should have done this, that, and the other thing. It's like, what are you talking about? This is.
You should have dumped water on every inch of California, man.
It's like, dude, what's happening in my neighborhood, winds like this I've never seen. I've lived here 30 years. I've never seen the winds like this ever. And the Santa Rosa fire that happened several years ago in Northern California, this is very similar to what Bob Suska told me. Because I heard on the radio this morning, I was listening. I normally don't listen to local radio when I drive into work, but I wanted to because for obvious reasons. Yeah. And one of the estimates was at some point last night, the fire was moving so fast I want to say it was a Palisades fire, but I don't know, was moving 500 yards a minute.
Oh my God.
That's insanely fast.
How's that humanly possible? I mean, I guess.
And because of the winds, there was no air support last night. So these guys are on the ground trying to fight a fire without any air support because it's too dangerous. Burbank Airport had to close. They were diverting flights out of Burbank to LA. Yeah, because there were 90-mile-an-hour gusts. We had hurricane wind gusts going on. We had at least 50 miles an hour in my backyard last night. Gusting, not sustained, but gusting.
Right. Yeah, I mean, look, no, you haven't had that before. And again, I mean, I think we just had the 7th, I think they said, worst snowstorm in Cincinnati history. So, okay, that's not like the worst or second worst or whatever. But a bunch of them have been in more recent years. I mean, it just, are we ever going to embrace reality? Are we ever just going to accept it? Or I guess if we just bury our heads somewhere, it'll go away? I don't know.
I don't know. It's just, I'm just glad that President Biden is still in office because he's already released funds for the state to help with the rebuilding. I mean, people are losing their homes. There are businesses, there's pharmacies, there's a high school that burned down, there's a grammar school that burned down. I mean, this is crazy. It's awful. I mean, this is an urban fire. This is not a wildfire that's in the forest that we're kind of used to. This is people's homes. And a friend of mine shot video. He was driving home yesterday or last night, and a transformer blew and power lines were hitting the ground. He was in his car, so he was grounded. He was fine. He made it out of there safely. But we have a transformer right behind my house. I'm just glad it didn't blow.
I mean, it's sad because, again, are we going to be able to make it 4 years without there being a fire in California?
No.
While Trump's president, of course. Well, so I mean, of course not. Or in other various natural disasters, hurricanes, this, that, the other thing. I mean, it's just.
He's awful. He's awful. He's. I have stopped getting sound bites for Stephanie of Donald, and she appreciates that.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I won't listen to anything he says. If I have to read it, I will.
Right.
I read it. Like I read what he said. I do like an opening rant in the show, and today was on him basically begging and pleading the Supreme Court to stop Judge Merchan from in the end just saying you're a felon, because he's already said he's not going to give him a prison sentence.
Right.
He's not going to even fine him. And so, but I was like, I can't listen to his voice. So people that were listening to that press conference the other day, I was like, no, I'll read afterwards and see. Like my goal for this couple of years, the only time I'm going to see his voice is when I grab a clip for a video, and I absolutely have to. And generally, even that will be him saying something really effing stupid.
Well, I mean, that 70-minute rant yesterday was just, Hezbollah apparently was also at the January 6th insurrection.
Yeah. It's amazing how Hezbollah pretty impressively gets themselves from Lebanon to Washington, D.C. Who knew there was such a...
Who knew? Under his watch.
There's a passenger train. Yeah, that's right. Right. He was still president. So, right. Yeah. I mean, that's what I mean. Like, if I hear him say that live, it's tougher for me. I get angrier than reading it. So I'd rather just read it and do it that way. Yeah. I mean, Bob and I were talking about this pretty openly on his show yesterday, like the different sort of difficult times that we had. Yesterday, Tuesday, where are we? Today's Wednesday. Yeah. Because it's different for everybody. For me, I was in a funk like that I don't remember being in my entire life. Now I've got a sick mom too, and some other things going on, but that was a big, blow that started it off. And then a couple other things happened, and then it sort of snowballed. And the thing is that smaller things that wouldn't normally get to me then got to me.
Yeah.
you know, and then it becomes, and I mean, everybody needs to figure it out, you know, and we're all, as I've said, hopefully people get, they can reach out to people, reach out to friends, reach out to therapists. There's no stigma at all. I've seen plenty of therapists and got nothing to apologize for. But I, you know, in my case, yeah, I need to just get the hell out of this country, which I was lucky I was able to do, and go to a place that I had lived, which was France, and you know, enjoy speaking the language, and loved and saw two friends I hadn't seen in 25 years. One French, one Italian, who came to meet me in Nice from kind of disparate, you know. Oh, it was the best, and that was reinvigorating. I guess I needed it. You know, so for different people, it's different things. I think we have to all figure out what it is that can bring us back. But you know, there are times in November I don't think I wanted to get out of bed.
No, I mean, when I woke up the morning after the election at midnight, because it was a work day. No, I was on vacation that week. I woke up at like 3. I got to sleep until 3, and I looked at the internet, and Lonnie had just gotten up, and I said that MFer won, and he looked at me. He's like, "Wait, what?" And I said, "Yeah, he won," and I just burst into tears.
I believe it. I remember I think it was Pennsylvania, right? We were holding out because if we could just win Pennsylvania and a few of the other ones out, you know, none of the other ones worked out anyhow, so it didn't matter. But unbelievable. Again,
yeah, I don't understand. Like in 2016, I didn't agree with it, but I understood people that didn't know who he was or how he would govern voting for him. I get that. And because of what happened to Hillary over how many decades, I get it, why he won the Electoral College.
Yeah.
I get it. But this time, after what he just COVID alone, let alone anything else, I lost 7 people because of his disastrous response to COVID.
Yeah,
so,
I lost. I mean, they're older. It doesn't take away from it, even if they were in bad shape and older. But 2 relatives I lost because of it.
I'm sorry. I lost a cousin. She was not young either. But you know, Don Wells was a friend. A friend of mine from back when I used to manage bands. He passed away. A friend of Chris's, who I knew. He was the first person I knew. He was only in his 40s. He was young.
Right. Oh
you
my
know,
God.
and so it's just like
and we knew this guy knew. Yeah, and we knew he knew, and
he knew.
The tape is there. He said it early how bad it was going to be, and he just
thank you, Bob Woodward, for not letting us know that.
Yeah, right. I hate that guy. He's done that for years now, and he should forever. It should be tainted, and people should forget about what he did with Watergate, because he's more than made up for it by screwing us so many times, whether it was George W. Bush or, you know, like Trump, or in any case. But yeah, I mean that's that. I think because it was the second time and people knew, like, to see people I knew, you know.
Oh no, I know people that vote for him. I have relatives, not in my generation,
that's what I'm talking about.
Voted for him, and I don't get it.
To see that, it's like, what, you know, again, like, didn't we all used to share something basic? And I think that basic was somebody that's committed assault on numerous women, somebody who's a criminal and indicted on numerous things. It's somebody who clearly is a traitor. And, you know, I mean, I'm sorry, you don't need even the Senate intelligence report, which, by the way, the Republicans controlled the Senate at that time. Mm-hmm. You don't even need that. You just need common sense of, hey, I'm going to go talk to Putin without the translator. And, oh, you know, Ukraine really should just let them have the eastern half of the country, and all the various ways that, you know, like, so traitor, criminal, assault, this, that, horrible, these outbursts on Twitter. And it's like, so to see people, you know, and you kind of to be to say, I choose that, like, I want that again, not to mention the risks of dictatorship and everything else, you know, not to mention, you know, that there's any kind of disaster, be it natural or not, he's going to screw it up or ignore it. I just, you know, and then, you know, it hit me in a way where I lost faith in my country. And then also, you know, at least I could write it off and say that after, you know, bad elections against him, you know, Sherrod Brown had won the past year in Ohio, and we had won, you know, they gerrymandered some House races, but in was it 2022? We pulled out like in all three swing House races we won here. Like we won a bunch of Supreme Court seats, which they then took back. The point being, like, we had some good wins here, and that Trump seemed to be an outlier. The way he convinces all these people that never vote to come out just for him. But when you get to the point where it's no longer just like a 7-point win by him, but it's like a 13-point win. You just sit there and you're like, hey, I mean, Cincinnati's great. We're blue as hell. Probably voted 85 to 90% for Kamala, and Hamilton County, which keeps getting more. The county around Cincinnati keeps getting more blue all the time. I mean, I don't know what the final percentage was, but we went 60% for Biden. I'm pretty sure it was 65, something like that. But like, I drive 40 minutes, 30 minutes, 20 minutes away from here, and I'm in a place that I don't think feels a lot like America to me.
Well, I mean, California has its pockets as well. Trust me.
Right.
The orange curtain alone. But it's what one person that I knew for 40 years, I'm not talking to him right now. He voted for Donald because Donald's going to stop all the wars. Yet Donald wants to invade Greenland. He wants to invade Panama, and he wants to invade Canada with military force if necessary. So, hi, your peacenik guy wants to be Hitler, literally Hitler.
Yeah, I don't believe anybody's. I mean, I don't know your friend, so I don't know.
He's an old hippie.
That's even worse. I don't believe anybody who is smart really believes that. I think they could convince themselves of that and find a way to mean. But after the way he obviously killed Soleimani, the Iranian head of the Republican Guard, and other various things he's done, like, no, he threatened plenty of other countries when he was in office. So I mean, it just is. I think people who wanted to vote for him found excuses to vote for him.
Yeah, I mean, the contrast between him and President Carter, who's being laid to rest tomorrow, is just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a reminder of. Because again, I've said this on this show many times and other shows. I mean, to me, so much of it is Reagan is where we went all wrong. 30s to the 80s, we still had Jim Crow, which we were fighting against. We still had women didn't have equal rights. Again, I don't.
We still don't.
Yes, and now I've had rights taken away. I still don't say it like it was this perfect time, but economically, a 91% top tax rate at times, certainly a 70% top tax rate. People on one salary, working families could live to, could go on vacation and live well and had healthcare and had pensions. And we were moving to a place where more people through the Civil Rights Bill and Civil Rights Act and others were being included in that. And, and we've created the strongest middle class in the history of the world. And then we track most other Western nations during that time. In fact, we were to the left of some of them on a number of issues. And then they keep going in the right direction with, paid family and medical leave and, and these kinds of things, banning, most guns and requiring certainly, background checks, licenses and registration and all these things that any sane country would require for a weapon that kills. And all of that. And we just go in the opposite direction. And I mean, so to see Carter, like that choice that this country made by, again, to, like in Trump's case, to pick a showman who was selling bullshit, selling supply side economics, which was absolute crap, and things like that, over this guy who actually was the good part, not the religious right, the good part of being Christian, did the stuff Jesus said to do, like help the poor and, went and built houses till he was 95 for people that didn't have them. I mean, that choice.
Well, as far as Jimmy Carter losing that election, don't forget what Ronald Reagan did with the Iran hostages. Had that not happened, I think Carter might have pulled it out.
Right. He didn't just magically know the right people for Iran-Contra 8 years later. He'd had a lot, or 6 years, whatever. He had a lot of experience with them, as you pointed out. And Republicans have now been doing this for generations. Nixon, we know for a fact now, messed with the negotiations in Vietnam. And Trump, of course, was encouraging Putin and other people to cause as much havoc and Bibi Netanyahu and other friends as possible. This is what Republicans do. And it's, again, seeing, and knowing that Carter put the solar panels on the roof. I mean, knowing that we could have been that far ahead of the curve on this. And here we are. 45 years later. And
yes, and my town is on fire partly because of that. So
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to end in a sad way. I know you've got to go soon. Let's end in a happy way.
Okay.
Tell me something good. I don't know.
Tell me something
Please.
good. Tell me something good. My cat looks adorable.
Even to make it up.
Even if I want to make it up, I won the lottery.
All right, there we go. Yes, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Yay! Bye. Off to Aruba I go.
Yeah.
No, my cat looks adorable. She's the one that eats the cords.
Does she allow you to pick her up?
Oh yeah. Do you want to see her?
I would love to.
You
This is a
say
cat-friendly show. We love cats on the show.
This is Miss Daisy. Come say hi. Come say hi.
Oh, look at you.
Who's the baby girl?
Daisy.
Say, Daisy, look up. Look up.
Oh my
say
God,
hi,
Daisy, you're
girl.
adorable.
She's like, Mom, I'm tired. I want to go back on your chair. Now she's falling asleep again. Good girl. And her brother is hiding.
That's fine. You know what? They are adorable. They should honestly run the universe. I mean, I know that, there's a part of them where they're kind of sociopaths that kill anything smaller than them.
Sure.
But then again, most things smaller than them, well, no, I mean, I don't want chipmunks and squirrels necessarily to get it. But and most, again, we have sociopaths that are running the United States soon. So I would take the cats, and at least they'll be kind to humans.
Usually they are. Yeah, usually. Our old cat, before she passed away last year, she would not. She was an indoor out. She moved in with us. We didn't pick her. She picked us. So we didn't lock her in except at night because she was that kind of a cat. Yeah. So she would sometimes bring in mice to the house, but she wouldn't kill them. And of course, the mice preferred our office, which has wires everywhere and
right.
Natural. We have other rooms in the house where they could have lived, but no. This room. And we had one that lived here for 3 days. We tried to catch it humanely.
You should have charged that one rent.
We should have. At one point I was sleeping and we thought she was locked in. It was a girl because she jumped over my head. That's how I knew she was a girl. Because have you seen the balls on small mammals?
Oh,
they're like human sized. They drag.
They really are. I don't understand how that doesn't damage their reproductive abilities, but
it's just amazing the size on a squirrel or a mouse. But anyway, so she got out. We thought we had her locked in one of the closets, and we had to have a heart trap. And she liked smoked Gouda cheese. She really liked that. She had really good taste. And she had great taste in cheese. And so she decided, of all the rooms in the house, to get under the door to our bedroom where we were sleeping with our cat. Okay. Yep. The cat was in there. So she decides to come in there and check it out. Great. And it was warm. And so I had my leg out from, how you kind of put your leg out when you cool off. And I felt this animal on me. And I realized the cat was between Lonnie and me. So it wasn't the cat. And I went, holy shit, the mouse. And she took off and ran and jumped behind our dresser. So stupidly, we thought, well, we'll block her and we'll block one end and then she'll run out and we'll catch her. Well, we forgot that they can climb
and they're quick as they are fast.
They are
you
fast.
Better be ready with like something to put over them or.
Yeah. And so what happened was she ran up the middle of our dresser and jumped over my shoulder and then came back in the office and hid in the closet.
This is like an Olympic level mouse.
She was amazing. And so the next day was a Tuesday when I was going in to do Stephanie's show. And Lonnie found her. She had decided to hide in the kitchen near our dishwasher. And so he said, I got her. I said, what did you do? He goes, you don't want to know. We could not catch her humanely.
I understand.
It was just, we had some snap traps and it worked, unfortunately, for her. But the cat, she was just like, yeah, whatever.
I had a few in a past place that I lived, and I think it was in Washington, D.C. And, mice I feel differently about. I feel bad for. So I would try to set everything up to get rid of them in a kind way. I thankfully have never had a place where rats have come in. I would have much less sympathy. I get it. They're sort of related and whatever, but they're meaner and you can't.
They can be. Willard.
I can't really forget the bubonic plague. I have to. I'm still holding them responsible for that. The way I hold Trump responsible for COVID.
Well,
So,
yeah, I mean,
you know.
we used to say, stay away from that like the plague, but apparently we don't do that anymore.
Now we're like, hey, and go hang out with Robert Kennedy Jr., shoot up some heroin, also make sure to take some steroids, and then you can, but you will not take anything else because everything else is bad for you. Just those two things are good for you.
Right.
Yeah. We're in trouble.
God help us.
I think we can come back from this, but I'm not going to lie. When I was abroad, you take a look back at your country, and I mean, we have a number of trends that have been only getting worse, and it doesn't seem like anybody is prepared to stop them. Republicans, and the few decent Republicans there are, and there are very few, close their eyes. Democrats don't seem to have the courage in most cases to really. I mean, some do. We're getting more of a younger generation, but we need them to really step up quickly because we don't, and the media corporate media is a joke. So let's not even discuss them. It's challenging.
Well, listening to the gaslighting is what boggles my mind. When somebody says, "Oh, the economy's in the tank," no, it's not. The economy's doing very well.
I mean, it's
thank you very
great.
much. So
yeah, media could have told people that if they wanted to.
They didn't. They wanted the stupid horse race, and now they're kowtowing and bowing to dear leader when they're the ones that are supposed to hold him to account, and they are not doing it. And I most of the people that are kowtowing to him have more money than he does, and they're still doing it. They're like, you guys are more powerful than he is. Sorry, but you are.
They shouldn't be, because we should tax them at a rate.
Oh, I agree completely.
They can't even imagine. But you're right. They are more powerful. Any one of them, if they were threatened by him, could get out of this country quickly and easily at any time.
Anytime.
And yet, I mean, Bezos and Zuckerberg, how pathetic, honestly. I mean, Elon Musk, I don't think is mentally well, but that doesn't mean I give him an excuse. I don't care. I mean, I don't think Hitler was mentally well. I don't think Pol Pot or Idi Amin were mentally well either. Doesn't matter. You don't get a write-off as far as I'm concerned. So I'm not making excuses for Musk. I'm just saying these other two, I think it's pure butt kissing, and it gets me so angry because you're how rich, it's like that line from Wall Street. How many boats can you water ski behind? How much is enough?
Well, I mean, that's why people like Mark Cuban, I like him. I do too. Years ago, he wouldn't remember this, but years ago when he started HDNet, do you remember when he started?
I do.
That?
Yeah, I do.
I was producing a sketch comedy show here in Los Angeles, and it was different than others that were going on at the time because we did a different show every week. Most live sketch comedy shows in Los Angeles, they do the same show for like a month. But we were doing a different show weekly with people that had day jobs. So it was tough for them to do it. So I started producing it, which helped them out with some things. We pre-taped a lot of stuff. And so I emailed Mr. Cuban, this is in 2003. And I emailed him, and he emailed me back like within an hour.
Yeah, he's
amazing. Like it was like, wow, thank you for getting back to me. He goes, no, it sounds like a great idea, but you're not shooting it on HD, but I wish you all the luck in the world. And he just could not have been nicer, and what he's doing for pharmaceuticals and things like that for people that can't afford things. He's doing like Jeff Bezos' ex-wife. He's doing work with his money better than most do. And
absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Whatever, and I know him, I got to know him probably about a decade ago, and we've been in touch on email. I've talked to him, and he has agreed to come on the show. So I'm hoping to have him on here. We'll have a robust conversation. And because again, my thoughts aside on, the vast, I'd like to talk to him about it, see what he thinks. I mean, he's a very smart, he's a thoughtful guy. And vast disparities in wealth leads to democracies ending, monopolies lead to democracies ending, lead to businesses essentially owning democracy. And so we are in a place worse than the first Gilded Age. And so I go after monopolies and billionaires, and just the way I go after corporate media, I always try to point out the exceptions. There are some great people that work in corporate media. There are a couple billionaires that I think I have met, or I've done work where it's been funded by them. I think Warren Buffett's a good person. I think that he helped fund work I did to protect choice here in Ohio, for example. I think Mark Cuban is a really good guy. So they're out there. It's just I think in general, it's a bad thing for democracy, and it it's a bad thing for our economy. I mean, when you get to that point, you're not spending money on everyday stuff that's helping workers. It's ending up in a Swiss or bank somewhere, or you're buying a yacht abroad. It doesn't. It's a stupid way to run a country and an economy, and then it gives the kind of outsized power that Musk has right now.
Yeah.
And so in any case,
no, I mean, put me in the tax bracket that Joe Biden would like rich people to be in. I would love to be in that tax bracket. I would be happy to pay the extra taxes. It doesn't bother me. I don't get people at that level that say, "Ooh, I can't pay another $100 million out of the 40 billion that I have lying around." It's like I don't get it,
right?
I don't get it.
Every school levy here, even the ones that don't cover where my kids are in school. I mean, what is it? John Maynard Keynes, if taxes are the price of a civilized society. I mean,
I don't have kids. I'm happy to pay my property taxes.
Right.
I don't have children. I should be the one bitching about it because I don't have. Why do I care? Well, I do care because I want those kids to be educated so they don't rob me in the future, so that they can have a job and take care of the rest of us when we're old. I have no problems doing that. It's like I don't like paying taxes, but I understand why. I understand why. I want roads.
I don't like paying for food. I don't like paying for these lights right here. I mean, I don't like paying for anything, but I understand I must, and it's part of the way things work, and I do it. And taxes are the same thing, and it's the same thing. Even if those taxes are for other purposes, I realize that part of the public good of living in a democracy is that you raise everybody up, because if you don't, then we all become in our little silos, which is what the right has done now, and the end is the end of democracy. So well, let's just keep saying happy things and being happy, and you should keep playing those guitars and sing some more songs.
This one right here that I'm pointing at.
Yes,
that one. Lonnie actually designed that one.
That looks beautiful from here. It looks like a what do you call it?
It looks a little like
a Les Paul.
It looks like, but the shape of it is slightly different, and he called it the violon, but we couldn't get a trademark of it. But it's a nice guitar. It's his design.
Well, all that looks fantastic. Even if the mouse is still there, the room looks great.
God only knows if I ever move, there will be skeletons of lizards for sure. For sure.
That may be a good way to end. A good final end. Listen, we all want skeletons of lizards. If there's anything,
exactly. Why not?
Skeletons of lizards more often. Thank you. You gave me more time than you even said you would, because of course you did, because you're you. This has been awesome. I want to thank you for agreeing to come on here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Everybody was really excited. You're well loved around this universe.
Sweet. That's very nice.
Well, listen, have a great day. I'm glad you gave some of it to me, because you probably need to sleep at some point soon.
No, I need to go back to work is what I need to do.
Oh, okay. You need to go back to work. I'm going to let you do that. And, this will be come out as a live stream. I mean, it is right now. I'll also rerun it like later. I'll send you links and all that stuff. And then I'll cut out our interview and probably make that into a separate video.
Cool.
So you will appear in many places. Like you have. Acting, rock and roll, I mean, managing bands. No, you've had a pretty cool life. So thanks for sharing it with us, Jody, and I will talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you, Cliff.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. All right, everybody. I usually like to have a question and answer session afterwards, but I have a doctor's appointment I have to get to. I'm sorry to say. Not that it's a bad one of any sort, but going to the doctor is never a huge amount of fun that we all get excited about. So anybody have any last minute stuff? I hope you all enjoyed. Jody's awesome. Yes, member for 3 months, JD Christie. We got that. I didn't get to talk to you about the Patreon situation today, because it's being released today. All the new rules and the upgrades, and then the YouTube memberships are going to be changed a little bit too. Colleen Matches, thank you for that. So anybody want to help me walk out the door with something? What are you going to get? Come on. Who's leaving with me? Who's going with me? I even screwed up my own line. Anyone? Super sticker? Super chat? Chat sticker? This, that? Anyone? Don't make me take this goldfish. Okay. If this works the way it usually does, is right after, the Patreon is where you want to be. Right after I say good, you know, I say goodbye, you guys will start sending stuff. So we'll see if it works out that way. 'Cause otherwise I'm taking this goldfish. But seriously, guys, thank you. Thanks for being here. We'll be back tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad place. I have another good guest, I think, lined up. JD Christie, right before the buzzer. You are awesome. You have helped me leave in a positive Jerry Maguire fashion. So you guys are great. Thank you. You're awesome. And country, you're awesome too. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'd better say goodbye quickly. I'll miss my doctor's appointment. So thank you, friends. You know, what do they say? What do we say here? I believe what we say is, as the sun sets slowly in the west, I bid you a fond farewell. Have a great day, guys.